next is a fireside chat on Nokia enabling the future-ready architecture for 5G in India. I would like to invite Sanjay Malik, Senior Vice President and Head of India Market Nokia, and Danish Khan, Senior Assistant Editor, The Economic Times Telecom. Please take the conversation ahead, Danish.
Hello everyone, welcome to this fireside chat where we are going to discuss how Nokia is enabling the future-ready architecture for 5G in India. For this chat, we have Mr. Sanjay Malik, who is Senior Vice President and Head of India Market Nokia. Sanjay, welcome to this fireside chat. I'll start the conversation by asking or seeking your views on Nokia's presence in India. Nokia has been present in India for more than 25 years. And obviously, it has a big role which it has played in achieving the telecom revolution. What has been some of the highs and lows in this journey for Nokia? If you could explain.
Thank you, Danish, and thank you for having me here on the show. Last 25 years of telecom journey in India. I think this is one of the most inspiring story globally, right? And as an industry, we have really come a long way over these 25 years. And you remember the first 2G call, which was made in year 2000. And incidentally, that call was also on Nokia network and Nokia mobile phone. And now we have moved to 2022. And over these years, I mean, if you look at some of the statistics, basically it has become a service from just making people talk to economy enabler. So today, telecom is just not connecting people. It is much more than that. From kind of whatever 0 subscribers to over 1 billion subscribers today, and a kind of a large data consumption also. So tremendous story, and happy to say that Nokia has played a very significant role in this particular story. And as I said, making the first 2G call to today, where we have #1 position in the market. We moved from, let's say, about a 50 people organization to more than 15,000 in India today. We have moved from importing the equipment earlier to now exporting it and exporting it widely to the western world. Similarly, if you talk about the software, from software download, we have moved to really creating the software here in India. So from that perspective, yes, Nokia #1 in the market today. We have all this latest technology VoLTE calls which are being made on the network. 95% of those calls are made on Nokia core equipment. And similarly, the fiber to home, we are again covering 50% of that from Nokia. So I think quite a few highs to be talked about, and Danish, frankly speaking, we can keep on talking for half an hour on this industry movement. However, yes, there has been lows also in the market, and maybe if I have to count a couple of those, we had this cancellation of about 122 licenses. I would say that was a big low in the market. Recently, we had seen this AGR topic, which has impacted the industry quite a bit. That's another low. And the third, which I would say is the recent pandemic, where unfortunately the whole industry, we lost quite a few of our colleagues who have been part of this success story. And similarly, recently, if we see all the relief package which has come through, the PLI schemes, those are really, again, creating more positives to take this industry forward to next 10 to 15 years. But you know, that one thing which really makes me proud as a telecom industry guy, and that is that pandemic, yes, very unfortunate situation, but at the same time, telecom industry was one which kept the economy cranking even during pandemic. So whether it is with respect to the business, whether it's with respect to our socializing, entertainment, and at the same time making the enterprise work. So from that perspective, I think the telecom industry and within that Nokia has contributed a lot to keep the economy running. And that makes me really proud.
Sanjay, there is a lot of discussion around Atmanirbhar Bharat and how more and more value addition should be done for both manufacturing and R&D in India. And Nokia has been doing both for a very long time here. So, what are your thoughts on what will it take to make India self-reliant? What are your thoughts?
I think one, I would say Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliant India. I think really again great policy initiative which has been taken by the government, and we really welcome that. Along with that, the PLI scheme which has come up. That's again one real big shot which is there to take this industry forward and manufacture and make more and more in India. And as you know, that Nokia has been part of the PLI scheme, and we are one of the front runner in that. And we have more or less met our yearly target from the investment perspective also. So I think it's a strong step. But at the same time, if we just take a step back, the whole initiative is to create jobs in India, and at the same time to be much more reliant on the basis of whatever gets manufactured in India. And from that perspective, you're right that we have a large manufacturing facility here. We have been manufacturing with minimal import part into it. At the same time, a large R&D facility. So, sorry, coming back to the manufacturing, I would say we have started manufacturing 5G already from there, and we are exporting 50% of the production out of the Chennai plant globally, and globally also to the Western countries. So that part is very well done, and we are looking at how do we, based on this PLI scheme, that how do we make and get more manufactured, whether it is in the fixed broadband or whether it is in the optics space. So that's one part which we are covering. Second, yeah, R&D perspective, again, you are right. There is a large R&D force of about 6,500 people who are in Bangalore, and again, working and developing the latest technology, including the 5G technology there. So I think there are two aspects which I would say needs to be done to take it to the next step. And one, again, the step which has already been taken to some extent is, as of now, we import the components for our manufacturing which are not available in India. So I think this PLI scheme for silicon here in India, that would help in again sourcing quite a few of these components from India itself. And second, I would say that from Make in India perspective, we may have to we should broaden the definition a little bit, that with respect to the value addition, it should consider, let's say, the export being done from here, or what percentage of our equipment requirement in India is coming from the manufacturing being done in India, or that how much R&D is being deployed from India. And at the same time, yeah, things like foreign exchange earning an organization brings to India. So I think from value addition perspective, maybe we will have to look at these another 3 or 4 aspects to ensure that companies like us get incentivized in bringing more and more manufacturing out of India. And then considering these organizations like Nokia for preferential market access also. So I see, in a nutshell, I would see it's a great initiative. The first step has been taken, but I'm sure that with the next step, it will broaden the definition, and it will attract much more manufacturing and R&D to be done from here.
Sure. My next question is on 5G. So this is going to be possibly the year for 5G technology, not in terms of commercial rollout necessarily, but in terms of auctions, in terms of network rollout. What do you expect from the government and the regulatory body to ensure, so for them to ensure 5G success in the country? And you have been very, very vocal about how 5G should look like in India. What are your views?
I hope I'm not over vocal on it. Yeah, I think one good thing that yes, with all the initiatives taken by the government bodies, 5G seems to be here in India now, and hopefully, whenever the auctions happen mid of the year, we will start seeing the early launches of 5G in India. From Nokia perspective, I would say, as I said, that we have the readiness for 5G here. We have performed the trials with all the operators, and very successful trial demonstrating the speed, demonstrating the best latency, and the technology, which is again leader as a leader in the market. As you know, globally we have about 214 commercial 5G deals and about 74 5G networks which are already launched. India perspective, I told you that we are manufacturing 5G in India. We are doing remote deployment of 5G from our global delivery center here in India. We are managing 5G network, and at the same time in our R&D, we are again developing 5G. So from our side, yes, readiness is there. Now, from regulatory, maybe a couple of requests from my side. And number one, I would say 5G should be taken more as a economy enabler. And it's kind of a revolution and not evolution on the network, with more IoT devices, more enterprise coming into the service. And that's where, yes, the spectrum definitely should get revenue for the government, no doubt about it. But at the same time, it should be taken as an economic enabler. I read one of the study which said that if the mobile internet traffic goes up by about 10%, it improves the GDP by about 1%. So it has to be seen in that perspective. So that's why there has to be balance in the revenue which the government wants to have out of spectrum auction, and enabling or providing the operators to put more investment to make 5G work. So reasonable pricing of the 5G spectrum would be one thing which I would expect from the government and regulatory bodies.
Sure.
So that's one. And then second is all the right initiatives so that it helps in the operators to invest in spectrum auction also, and at the same time invest in the equipment to make it best in class service. So whatever has to be done as the relief package, which is for further kind of giving incentives to the market or improving the levies, I think that should be done to make operators invest more into it. So those would be my two requests to the government and the regulatory bodies.
Right. You talked about Nokia's readiness to support 5G rollout. Now let's discuss the readiness of Indian telecom operators. You are one of the big players, private telecom operators. You have deployments done across various technologies. How do you see them as in terms of their preparedness and how ready they are for this transformation? I'm sure they are working to launch 5G, but in terms of financials, in terms of network, how do you see their readiness? If you could give a sense on that.
I think from that perspective, Danish, what I would say is that operators have been getting ready for 5G for last couple of years. And 5G is not only 5G radio. which spectrum is required. It is much more than that. So for example, the transport perspective, on the backhaul, on the front haul, so whatever upgradation which is required to carry this bigger traffic and making the pipe even thicker, I think that is something which again operators have started from last couple of years, because even on 4G it went through an exponential data growth. And so if we talk about the 5G transport, that's where the operators have already started investing to make the pipe bigger. Then when it comes to the core cloudification, which would be again one of the things which would be required, again, all the operators have started moving in that direction, and they have been cloudifying, they have been virtualizing their core network. And so that's again all in place. Then I think from enterprise segment perspective, because 5G would require more services for enterprise. If you look at it, the focus from the operators on addressing the enterprise market has already started coming in for kind of setting the private networks and all that, because that can be done again with 4G also. So I think from those three perspectives, they are ready. And initially, as you know, that it would be mostly co-located sites. So again, the physical infrastructure for putting up these sites is also there. So now I think it's the question of getting this spectrum auction done, and after that, getting the 5G radio ready. And from there, why I say these things with so much confidence, because Nokia, with its vast portfolio, we have been involved with the operators on the backhaul with IP and optics, on the fiberization, on the cloudification of the core network. So we have been involved, and we have set that stage. So now it can kind of take the next step.
Right. How aligned Nokia is with the telecom operators' plan to bring 5G to life in the country? You mentioned manufacturing, R&D, and use cases as well, and the enterprise support. How aligned Nokia is with telecom operators? If you could give a sense on that.
Okay, so as I told you, Danish, that we are kind of number one here in the market, and we are working with all the four operators. In fact, out of the telecom equipment manufacturers, we are the one who has been having business with and the partnership with all the four operators, and some of the MSOs also. So from alignment perspective, I would say number one, the trials have been done with all the operators. It has demonstrated all the technological aspects. It has demonstrated all the use cases, and readiness of resources is there. So, and because we are present in 4G with all the operators, I think it would be much easier path to move towards 5G. So as of now, yes, there has been discussions which is happening with all the CSPs which are there, and I think again it is a question of just getting into the next phase of 5G launches now.
Sure. One last question, and since we are running out of time, what would you like to see when we are back to this ETTelecom's 5G Congress event next year? What are your expectations? What should we discuss? What is the scenario that we are going to see next year? Your thoughts?
I hope I had a crystal ball. Yeah. So I think I would say maybe next 10 years, and then I'll come back to 1 year also. So if we talk about really next 10 years, 25 years, we have seen a huge paradigm shift which has happened. I would say next 10 years, we have to basically focus on a connected world. And as you know, that Nokia proposes that we create technology that helps the world act together. So that has quite a bit of strong meaning behind it. And 10 years hence, I would say that yes, we should be having technology, whether it is 6G or 7G, not getting into that, but it has to be much more sustainable. It has to be much more getting into more devices, more enterprises, and more than just connecting people as such, and has to be kind of inclusive to the whole humankind. So maybe I will say, if not next year, because next year still 12 months away, and we know about the 5G spectrum auction timing. But what I would say is that if we come to your event in 24, which is 2 years from now, I would say that yes, we should be having pan-India 5G at that time. We should be having, if not more, 100 good enterprise success stories where they have benefited from 5G from either productivity perspective or efficiency perspective. And then I think, yeah, we should be basically seeing more of applications which help the wider Indian society. So healthcare, we saw that a glimpse of that during the pandemic time, and I think that, for example, should be moving one step up on doing the remote diagnostic, remote management, and all that kind of stuff. So much bigger pan India and much more use cases to exploit or to leverage the power of 5G.
Well, let's hope that we get to see that big 5G network in the country and various use cases. Look forward to seeing those use cases. On that note, Sanjay, let's conclude this session. Always a pleasure to discuss India's telecom story and now 5G rollout. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Malik and Danish, for bringing out the best from the discussion. Certainly, we have got some very interesting insights. Let's move on to the next session. Stay tuned.